Good evening. I believe we're live. Yes, we are live. Good evening to one and all. It's good to have you all
I didn't
along with
realise
us
we had
tonight.
intro music.
Yeah, I know it's pretty cool, isn't it? Like with a little
Turn that down a bit.
slideshow and everything. Bit loud for you. Well, with me, it's just the three of us, the trio tonight, because Ryman's got some work commitments, but I've got let me check on the thing. I got Phil top right, and I got Wedge Brady bunching below me. How are we doing, Wedge?
Hello.
It's fun, isn't it? We should have something in the middle. Like maybe Ryman pops up in the middle. It's showing my age with the Brady Bunch. What decade was the Brady Bunch in? I'm gonna look this up. Unless someone in the comments wants to say before what decade the Brady Bunch was.
Place your bets.
Was it
70s?
Was it before the 90s? Because I'm out.
1969.
Oh,
Yeah, I must have got reruns. That was a US sitcom though. Wow, that's a really old.
Did they have an
school
episode
one.
where they landed on the moon?
I don't know. I don't know. There was that Donny Osmond. Who was in it? No, Robert Reed. I don't know why we're talking about the Brady Bunch. Oh yeah, because we're all set up kind of like the Brady Bunch, aren't we?
Because we want to talk about anything else apart from Luton. That's what it is.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because right now I don't want to say it's depressing, but I feel there's a lot more that we should be doing.
bleak.
Playing football, one.
Very but that's a big part of it. And if we do go back to the Lincoln City game, a big part of that was wanting it more. They wanted it more, and that's a big part of what we used to be. And that Luton's gone. That Luton's dead. It's dead as the Brady Bunch.
There you go. You brought it back in. You brought it back in. But, yeah, it was the Lincoln game for me. You're right to sort of have that thought about the overall situation of Luton at the minute. But I was so depressed by it. Like, so angry, so despondent at times. And I was trying to think throughout the last few days. I know that we had the phone and I wasn't able to join the phone in this week, but it was. I just feel like the whole club feels lazy, and I think that translates all the way through to the pitch as well. Like you just said it yourself, Ollie. Like they wanted it more, and that was very, very evident. Like it was just so poor. It was so poor, and I'm just fed up of being this negative. And I know that people say, "Oh, we won 4 games. We haven't lost all of our games this year," but it feels like we've won the ones that we should be winning. It feels like as soon as we get a test, nothing good comes of it. And we said this last week, so it's difficult because I don't want to come on to these call-ins and spill the same stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like it was a real low point yet again. Like we're on the floor, but we're sort of rubbing our faces further into the floor. It's a weird one. I can't profess to have any answers to it. But talking about Luton at the minute just brings me no joy, and that's not how it should be as a fan. You should. I love the club. Don't get me wrong. That through thick and thin, all that sort of stuff. But it's just crap. It's just no good. It's no fun. No positivity. And again, I've said it to you before. Maybe we'll get onto it later on about a bit more of a debate about the leadership. But like, I don't have any confidence in Matt Bloomfield. He bores me to tears. He's so boring, so dull, and yeah. I'm struggling at the minute. I'm struggling, which isn't what people probably want to hear. Me sitting at home on a Wednesday night spouting off how bored I am, but I am. I just can't be enthused.
No,
Well,
I think
Wedge
you
came on
echo
and said,
this.
where's the press conference? Didn't you,
There's
Wedge?
another day off
Yeah,
apparently, Ollie. Like I say, the last time we heard from him was an 9 minute sob story about how rubbish the team were, and then when he got asked a few direct questions, he really didn't like it. He really
you
squirmed
get
under some of those
agitated,
more
didn't
testy
he? Yeah.
yeah, really didn't like that because he wasn't able to spiel the same rubbish that he's been media trained to do so. He annoyed me at the end of it when he says, "Oh yeah, we'll come in on Monday." Again, sorry, I do not care. Get in on Sunday, sort that absolute mess out. And then, like you said, there's no press conference today as well, so we're a day behind at least in that. So when
Yeah.
Saturday comes around at 3 p.m., there's going to be a lot of disgruntled people. Not that many people will be worried about whether it's a press conference on a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not trying to get that, but I just feel like the club aren't helping themselves. Shying away and putting your head in the sand is just not gonna cut it at the minute.
Yeah. Well, we thought Wednesday doing a podcast at this time of the evening as well would be good because we'd be able to review what happened at the weekend. Then we'd see what Matt Bloomfield's got to say leading into the weekend coming, and that's why we kind of chose this slot to do it as well, wasn't it? And I just, yeah, I mean, you make a good point. His post match interview, he did get quite uncomfortable and agitated, but they're the only
That's
questions
what
that
happens when you ask questions.
that's
Yeah,
these are
Yeah.
the only questions that the reporters can now ask because you've always they always try and lead the questions with some sort of positivity, don't they? Which fair enough. If we look good and we've had one off day, then fair enough. But to continue trying to ask questions to try and bring out a positive answer from the manager when things aren't good, you need to ask those other questions, and we need to see an honest side and an honest assessment of things. So I think, yeah, he's been pretty well treated, Bloomfield, in press conferences, and I think it just showed a different side to him, and he just wasn't happy with it. I think he obviously knows that we're not playing well enough, um, and he's just trying to put a positive spin on it. And I'd rather him just come out and just say, "Nah, not good enough."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Jeff
at the end of
Doyle
the day,
smashed it. I think
oh,
Jeff
yeah,
Doyle
absolutely.
did a great job, didn't he?
yeah,
He did. I was just about to name drop him myself and sort of say and that's the thing. That's what comes with when there's people from the local press rather than
mm,
directly affiliated to the club that actually
mhm,
love the club and are going to ask challenging questions because quite simply this isn't good enough. And for people that have got the voice to be able to be heard, like Jeff Doyle has, I can say nothing but fair play.
yeah,
And I'm pleased as someone that loves the club as well that someone's trying to challenge what's going on because, like I say, it's not good enough,
mm,
and they need to be held accountable. Um, and I don't think anyone really has a full amount of confidence that Matt Bloomfield has the ability to turn it round. And
Well,
that's because of the way that we're playing as well. There's nothing in his tenure that makes me think, "Oh, I'll turn it round." We just need to hit the right bit of form. That's not happened at any point. Yes, he's made us tighter at one point. He made us more difficult to beat. There were times when obviously we had it in our own hands to stay up, but we didn't. And we like I say, we've been far from convincing this year. So there's no confidence there, and I can see a couple of the comments in the chat on this, and that's what I worry about on Saturday. It's going to take a big performance. Not like we need to be convincing for him to turn it around, and it can't carry on. We can't, even if it's a scraping over the line 1-0 win. I'm not entirely sure it's going to be good enough to appease the naysayers, and I include myself in that, because I've said it before. I've said it over the last few weeks. I'm bored of turning up to watch Luton be crap, because
I
that's what
want
we are.
us
at the
to
Bloomfield.
create chances, clear-cut chances. I want
Do you
to
see
be on
that
the edge of
stat?
my seat. I want to be on
You
the edge of
saw
my seat, you know?
you
Yeah,
saw that stat, right? Because we shared that in
Yes,
our WhatsApp group.
yes,
You know, 4 big chances created this season, the fewest
in
0 on
8
in the
games now.
entire league.
Yeah,
8 games.
it's
8 games. Hide behind your XG like last week, and then try and have a go at that. Maybe
Yeah.
he's getting a crib sheet ready for all the questions he's going to ask about that stat in his next press conference. Dick.
Oh,
2 shots on
yeah.
target against Lincoln. 8 out of our 13 shots were from outside the 18-yard box. We're just not playing football. That final third, just nothing. And it's
It
such a
looks good
struggle
until we
getting
get to
up
the
to.
halfway line.
Yeah,
We look fine. We look fine up to the halfway line. Well, I mean, when we
I-
have the ball. It's when the opposition have the ball that we don't look so good
Yeah.
in our own
Yeah.
half.
I'd probably, if I'm being really sort of rose tinted glasses, Ollie, I'd say that actually we're not too bad up to about 30 yards out, and then we're just completely bereft of ideas, because we get it into the wide positions up until about 30 yards out, but then we look to Ali, we look to whoever's on the other side, and then we go, what do we do?
Hit and
Pass it
hope.
inside, or just hit and hope.
but that's
So
all we have. All we have is going out wide. We have nothing through the middle. There is no variation to our playing style at all.
no,
Our players are too far apart, playing 3 centre halves, and then your wingers are pushed on forward. You've got 3 players to basically play out from the back across the whole width, and they're just too far apart. They're too far away from the wingers. The wingers aren't anywhere near the strikers. We've got no one in the middle. We can't play football the way that we're set up.
Yeah. Well, let's see what some of the people in the comments say. A lot of people just agreeing. People fed up with what they're seeing. Phil Clark, he says Donny made 9 changes, so you know they'll be well rested, won't they, for this game?
Yeah, they're playing Spurs at the moment, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, Lincoln gave Chelsea a run for their money. It just goes to show, like, how just trying, just going for it, and being little ratty bastards like we used to, that can get you really far. Kate says, think the fans will be heard this weekend. Oh, they will. I mean, like, we'll support the team as long as we actually see something on the pitch that's worth supporting. Like, we'll clap them when they come on. We'll be noisy for the first 5 minutes. But what happens? Tell me if you guys disagree. You're in Block B. I'm in E. So
Yeah.
I'm next to F. And the way it starts noisy, and then as soon as like the inevitable shitness starts like leaching into the game, it's sort of like someone just turns down the volume until you can
Yeah.
hear people like you can hear people coughing. It
There
gets
is no volume anyway. Like this season, from the start against Wimbledon, and I mean, the fans are well within their right not to make any noise, because we're so used to seeing absolute rubbish on the pitch that we're nervous as fans. We're not excited as fans. We've got no reason to make noise. It's all well saying that the fans are the 12th man and you've got to get behind your team, but you can't get
the other
behind.
11 have to do their job first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I say, the sound has been quiet for months and months now.
But
And
at the beginning of games, we do get behind them, but then it does just sort of tail off inevitably, doesn't it? Because
well, that's interesting because
we don't show anything.
from Block B, it sounds
Yeah.
very quiet. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's only, it's only
that
Block F
shows,
singing, really. Everyone else
yeah,
is sort of like, go on and get me off my seat,
yeah,
entertain me. And
It's a
that's
reciprocal thing, isn't it? It's a
yeah.
reciprocal thing, the noise in a stadium. I think if you're on the front foot and you're playing good football and you feel like we've got a chance to to add to the score sheet, to make a couple of chances, all it takes is even just like a cross that flashes across the 6-yard box and a bit of an ooze to sort of get everyone on their feet, a crunching tackle. That it doesn't take a
A shot
huge
on
amount.
target.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but it doesn't we're not asking for the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a bit of desire to make that initial noise continue into the 10th, 15th, 20th minute. But the thing is, it's sort of gone to, my opinion, it's sort of gone to almost pre-Still times. You know,
Mm.
when John Still used to say about like the fact that clubs would come to Luton when we were sort of the big fish in the conference, and they would, and he would say, "Well, as long as we can keep a clean sheet until the sort of 20th, 25th minute, their own fans will turn. So just do that." And he knew that and that's what he worked so hard on to make us not do that. Like, yeah, like the work that he did was almost miraculous considering how bad the feeling was in the club at the minute. Bloomfield is not John Still, man.
No.
Like, John Still would like manage rings around Matt Bloomfield in terms of a number of different things, and it's, but like I say, it's not rocket science. I'm sitting here as a fan telling you that all we want is just a couple of chances, a little bit of dig, a little bit of fight, and you'll have the fans behind you. But at the moment, no one's given us anything. No one's given us
And
anything.
you remember where we are in Block B, you would get like F Block singing all their songs, and then you'd get the Kenny end,
Mm,
and then we were kind of in the middle because Block B is probably the quietest block in the stadium, and you just have both sides, and it would filter
Oh,
through.
the
It'd
Kenny and
sound
don't
brilliant. It
sing.
was,
The Kenny do
but
not
they
sing.
would. They might not sing, lots of songs, but they'd say, "Come on, Luton." That they
Yeah.
would make their voices heard through very simple songs. They wouldn't be singing about Pelly or anything like that, but they would sing. Get behind the lads basically, and it would be like in Dolby, you'd hear it from both sides, but I don't hear the Kenny end at all anymore because again they've got nothing to cheer about.
From where I sit in Block E, you only hear the Kenny end when you're like 5 goals in front. That's it. That's
Yeah,
the only time I've
no.
ever heard the Kenny
no,
sing.
No,
like
give
if
him more
we'd have
credit than
two,
that. Give him more
yeah,
credit than
if
that.
we have 3 or 4 corners in a row, like they can get loud because obviously it's right in front of them. But you don't get that at the moment. But what you were saying about kind of the John Still days, I was thinking about this earlier. Is that the 6 seasons before we went up to the Premier League, in 2 seasons, all that hard work has just completely unravelled, hasn't it? We went
Yeah.
up from League One, from League Two to League One to the Championship. Had 4 good seasons. Survived, yeah, last day, but managed to stay in the Championship, flirt with playoffs, in the playoff Premier League. You know, and we've rightly as fans have got an expectation because I think the board themselves, you know, for once we kind of made it to Premier League, like we've done our bit. Even when we got to the Championship, we've done our bit. We've got us back to where we belong. We are now a club that are now heard of again, basically. And it's just stopped. It's just fallen off a cliff, and they just haven't tried to keep because we're going to fall into irrelevance again. And as Luton Town fans, we're very proud of our club, and we get so much shit from all the other clubs. They call us tin pot, this, that, and the other, but we are a good club, and I myself as a fan, I'm just really worried that our status and where we have been in the last 6, 7, 8 years, it's going to be all for nothing. And no disrespect to teams like Crawley or Mansfield or Northampton, but we're just going to be that level of a club again, and we deserve better than where we
But,
are.
well, yeah, but one of the things that Gary Sweet said in one of his numerous national media interviews, or maybe it was an in-house one, he was like, yeah, we operate a no trapdoors policy. Like, as we go up, we make sure we solidify what's beneath us so we can't slip back down. He's undone all that work, but ultimately, Gary Sweet's not the one that picks the team. He's not the one that motivates the players. He might be the one that is involved in recruitment, but also that there's other guys that have a role in that. Jay Sochik and Yusuf Sajjad. They got their cross to bear for the players
100%.
that they brought in.
Yeah.
But a big part of this is Matt Bloomfield. Should he stay or should he go? I'll get a couple of comments from people before we get your thoughts. Because obviously Doncaster, it's at home. It follows a really terrible away performance. Gary, I wonder if that's Gary Sweet. Bloomfield needs to come and say any player he thinks not giving 100% this weekend will be dropped. Bloomfield is Martin Cawthorne. Bloomfield is inept, and I can't see him turning it around. Burley, I reckon Matt has until the Stockport game. That's quite a run of games, but I think that's fair. B Hatter, Sweet is loving that Bloomfield is taking all the flack. And there we go. Yeah, there are a couple of others as well. We'll go for here. Highland Hatter, if we knew what Matt Bloomfield's plan for the team was and saw some progress, I think we'd understand a little. We look shambolic. Has Matt Bloomfield lost the changing room? I think he has until Stevenage. Yeah. Like, a lot of people think he's not good enough, which is absolutely fair. For me personally, I just want to see more personality from him, because if he's taking that personality that he's doing in the media and turning that to the players, that's not going to motivate them, is it?
No. He's the dullest man on earth when he's talking to the media. He's so dry, so dry. And I think that Highland Hatter's comment is pretty good actually. It's really spot on. Like, what is his plan? Is it relying on the individual brilliance of a couple of players? It's almost like he's still sulking because we didn't get Kone last year. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we didn't get him, and he made me quite successful in this league last year. So it can't be my fault. I do my bit. It's just that we haven't got that individual up front. Well, we haven't got him, and we have no idea. We just don't. We look rudderless. We don't look like we've got any real adaptability, any real sort of cut and thrust about us going forward. You know when you sort of like get on the semi break when you've got sort of like 5-on-5 and you go, we don't do that very often, and B, you
Run
have
out to the wing.
you have no faith that it's going to come to much. I mean, I'll get pelters for this, but because you like to tease me about the comments that I made in the past, but can Zach Nelson sprint? Because to me, he always looks at 3/4 pace. He always looks like he's just trotting along, like waiting to get the ball so he can do a little spin and then pop it.
You got
an
ugly run. You got an ugly run, mate. You got to be flailing like.
Yeah. You're getting his running impressions again.
I know, I've done it again.
I thought we've left that in the past.
Yeah, none of this perfectly symmetrical striding. You need to be like. Do you remember Rowan Vine? The way Rowan Vine used to run, like you'd think his head was gonna fall off.
The bobblehead, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want the ugly run.
Yeah. But
we're out of ideas. It's almost got to the point where give it to Ali, he'll do something.
Yeah, that's it.
That's literally what it is, and I don't know where the ideas are, and I don't know whether you picked up in his post match conference, but he said about the tactics. He knows exactly what not Doncaster, Lincoln do. They play it out wide from the keeper to their right, and they'll flick it on. So that's why we wanted to bring Longwake in. and we'll play him on our right, and we'll keep Ali on the left, so that when they do play it out, we'll have one of the smallest players on the pitch who can't jump, go for the ball, which is where their second goal come from, wasn't it? It was literally out to the right, and so he knows what Lincoln's plan is, but he just then didn't set
Do
the
you
team up to.
reckon?
I mean,
Yeah. Do you reckon Matt Bloomfield still has like left and L and R written on his shoes?
I think he's probably got L and L. He doesn't even
Like
know.
after setting it up, it's like
Yeah,
left.
L for loser.
Yeah, lose. L is for left. I think I've set the team up wrong. It obviously
Here's a
didn't
question
work.
for you, Ollie. Obviously, you weren't
Oh,
too sad about McGuinness going. Since he's gone, we played 2 games because we had Blackpool postponed, didn't we? And we conceded 6 goals in those 2 games, whereas we'd only conceded 3 in the 6 games before that. Do you think we miss him?
no, I don't think he would have made any difference. We already have a head on a stick that can't run, and that's Mads Anderson.
Mm.
Like the thing is, if we had McGuinness, we'd still be trying to shoehorn both Mads and McGuinness in when they're both fit, and you need pace. Like I think playing Mengi in that back three was a mistake purely because he'd only had 45 minutes behind closed doors football prior to that game. Makosso was needed. I think having Naismith there as well was also a mistake because he's slow as well. Like if you're going to have Mads in the middle, you need pace on the either side. You can have Naismith in the middle, so he can talk to both the people on the sides. I think it should just be Longwick, Naismith, and Makosso. To be honest, if you're persisting with back three, I don't want a back three. I don't.
No,
I don't.
but we always have this We have this conversation about what realistically is going to happen, Ollie. So I think you're right to keep talking in that sense.
Yeah.
It's not going to
Exactly.
shift. So
And this,
I mean,
you saying that Mengi coming in there, obviously it was too early for him to come by. But again, this is my thoughts on Makosso. I think he's regressing. I think his
That's coaching.
performances recently have been terrible.
That's coaching because Bloomfield's got to keep the players' heads screwed on.
Yeah,
Can't.
But
yeah,
I mean, he came in and he played his first game, I think, under Bloomfield, and towards the end of last season, I thought he was a breath of fresh air. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
And then this season, something's happened in the off season where he's just not continued the way he was. He's swung a punch at someone. He's turning up late to meetings. I don't know whether obviously that is an off-field thingy or whether he just, is a bit of a liability. Is he becoming more of a liability, and do we persist with him?
Getting more
Because
comfortable with the English lifestyle.
if he's not up here, then we can't have him playing. Like we need people who are switched on up here and actually prepared to play football when you step over that line.
But isn't that one for the senior squad members to deal with? Because he's obviously 21. The likes of Jordan Clark, Cal Naismith, George Saville. The senior members of the squad should be getting the younger members of the squads and guiding them. That they should be the ones that tell everyone to buck their ideas up. We've had Jordan Clark and Cal Naismith both coming out and saying completely polar opposites of what they think's going wrong. We had Carlton Morris last season saying a load of things, and then he effed off to Derby before he could actually let the genie out the bottle.
No, I think at the age of 21, you need, and when you've been playing football for as long as a lot of these people have, I think there's fundamentals which you don't get wrong. Throwing punches and turning up late for meetings, I think, shows something which it doesn't sit with me personally, and obviously it doesn't sit with Bloomfield either. Hence why he was dropped. But when you've got players like that and Jordan Clark coming out and saying we're not good enough, you do think get them in on the Sunday, like you said. I think that Sunday thing, even if they're not kicking the football, you get them in, you get them in the meeting room, and you go over what happened the day before, rather than letting people just sit on it and dwell and things like that.
They'll be in
Being
on
depressed on
Monday.
the coach back. But
Yeah, they'll be in on
yeah,
Monday, no doubt.
Mm.
Yeah, but maybe they took Rosh Hashanah off 2 days, so maybe they didn't come in
Yeah.
because of Rosh Hashanah.
Mm.
Not that the club tweeted out about it. Every other club did. Yeah, not saying anything about
What
that though.
who would you in terms of Saturday then, like for you guys, who's your back three? Because it will be a back three. Like who's your back three?
Chigozie, Naismith, Longwick.
Would you go Chigozie?
I'd put Naismith in the middle.
And Longwick's doing enough for you to stay in the team? Because he's only 22, by the way. Like we're
Yeah,
talking
but
about Makosa, like
but you
his
got
age is an
but you
excuse.
got
Like,
Naismith in the middle. Well, if not Makoso, like I'd persist with Makoso. But
Mhm.
my primary back three would be Longwick, Naismith, and Makoso. I'd love to play Naismith at left centre back, but ultimately he hasn't got the legs to play as one of the players on the side. If Makoso's head isn't in the game, then it would be Chigozie. I go Chigozie before I go Mengi. I don't think Mengi's head's in the game. He loses concentration too much, as we saw like multiple times. I saw a comment here saying, I don't know what it is about Mengi. I don't know what Bloomfield does with Mengi, because twice he's made a big mistake. Burley, good point. That's twice Matt made a big mistake with Mengi. Don't know what his love is with him, West Brom, and now Lincoln. Look, if your head's not in the game, you're gonna play much shitter. Like when I used to play squash, and I played at university and county, played at quite a high level. Whenever something was going on in my head, I was much worse than when things were going good. And Mengi's a kid. Like what? Mengi's 22 as well. Like if someone's not right in the head or not focused on the task at hand, don't play them. Whereas you have someone like Chigozie been with Luton since he's 8, a decade at the club. He's probably raring to go, probably chuffed to bits. Let him have a go. And next to Naismith, I think Naismith's a talker. He's a communicator. Mads isn't.
yeah, of course, that's what he brings.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing. I mean, Naismith brings
That's why
the
he's
voice
captain.
and the calmness. I think that's what I would say that Naismith brings you. But if you're looking at like legs, he's certainly not gaining anything if you put Anderson in there instead of Naismith. Like he can't run. So the only thing that Mads has
Can't
got
turn
that
either.
Naismith's got is a few inches of height. That's it.
Head on
I mean,
a stick.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I can't really go too far against what you've said, to be honest, mate. I think if I'm being really coming down to the if I was the one that put in the names on the team sheet, I think I would probably have Makoso would be in there for me. And I take on board what Wedge just said, but I'd like to think that his physical attributes at least give us a bit more of an edge when we've got our backs to goal, because he's got that bit more pace, that turn of speed is he's got agility as well. So I think that he's obviously a good player to have in there. I'd have Naismith in there, and I hate to say it, but I probably would have Mengi because I know what he can do, and that's only just purely through seniority. But
He can
that's
ball
it.
watch. He can ball watch and
He
get
ca
sucked
I'd
out of
have
position.
yeah, that's true. I mean, the first goal, by the way, let's not do this show without saying just how dire that concession of the first goal was, by the way. I mean, that was beyond Sunday League. Absolutely beyond Sunday League.
Mhm.
It was mad that how
I mean,
much
Um,
time and space he had, literally 18 yards out.
It
He
wasn't
had
Sunday League. It wasn't
did
Sunday
you say the
League
first or
because
the third? The third goal.
no,
first.
the first. So I was with my youngest son watching him play under fours football, and it was just like that. getting sucked into the ball, but at least my son has the brain to sort of stay back and wait for the ball to come to him so he can try and clear it away. Don't know what Mengi was doing.
Yeah. Well,
No,
and I mean, their
absolutely.
third goal was absolutely horrendous defending as well. They play a little 1-2, which I don't remember the last time two Luton players played a 1-2, a give and go, pass and move. And Makoso just let the guy cut inside, and is it House, wasn't it? Just basically stopped and 18 yards out, just picked his corner. And I mean, it's just schoolboy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not very good. It's not very good.
All 6 of the goals we conceded over the previous 2 games have been absolute diabolical errors.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and you go
3
back to the Cardiff game,
and
the
none
Cardiff
of
game
them
as
know
well.
where they're playing. Yeah, the Cardiff game. Well, that was
Obviously,
Liam Walsh running into
Yeah.
trouble.
Well, Zach
Yeah.
Nelson did exactly the same
Yeah,
against Plymouth,
it's
didn't he?
the it's the same errors every week,
And when we're
that's the
not
thing.
creating
And,
chances, we've got to be tighter defensively. We can't make these mistakes.
and when we concede a goal, we lose. Have you noticed that? Our only wins have come with clean sheets. So that's
Yeah.
a big part of it as well. As soon as we concede, everyone's like, okay, here we go. Because there aren't that many games where we've come from behind to get anything. Loads of games where we've been ahead and chucked away at loss, though. Like, I can think of many where we've done that, grab defeat from the jaws of victory. But there
Going back
aren't
to
many.
I think going back to what someone else said about like how long has he got? Someone said Stockport for the next international break. I personally think that if we don't win today and we lose against
Saturday.
Stevenage, Saturday, our next game. I know we've got a midweek game next week, which again that's obviously an important game. But I think if we were to lose to Stevenage and not get positive results before, he's dead man walking, because I
It's
know
going to be
that.
hostile. It's going to be
Oh yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
nowhere to hide for him or
no,
Gary Sweet. Like, once the
yeah,
players are off the pitch, and they'll get off the pitch quickly, no lap of honor,
mm.
which is silly anyway. Everyone knows where Gary Sweet is. People have to walk past Gary Sweet to get out.
On
Bro.
Saturday, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. We walk past him every single game, and the smug bastard usually just stands there, claps, and has a gurn on his face. So
Gets his phone out, probably looks to see how much XG we had.
yeah, he probably does. Yeah.
I bet he hated Lincoln, though. I looked at the XG because I never really look at XG because it's a bollocks stat. I saw an XG of 0.10 for us. I was like,
Wow.
well, I bet I hope Gary's looking at that. I love this comment here. B Hatter, back three, and Naismith, Makosso, and Ollie's son. Yeah, Mason could do a job. Yeah, he's a vicious little bastard as well. He'll probably get sent off. Yeah, he's only 3, but he'll give it a good go. And he cares about the club more than most of the shower that we got in at the moment. This is an interesting one here. So Burley says, put Lamine next to Saville. Now, do you think, essentially, when the team sheet's announced, and I think we all had the same reaction when the team sheet was announced last game, and I think I said to you guys, it has to be a back 4, right?
No, that never screamed back 4.
No. I said it was gonna. I said I'm hoping it's a back 4. It has to be.
It was never going to be. It's
Yeah,
never going to
I
be
know.
a back 4.
But this week against Doncaster, Bloomfield's had only success playing a 4-2-3-1. It has to be a back 4. Has to be. Like, have your right back, do not go any further than the halfway line. If you got like a centre back playing out of position at right back, do not go past the halfway line. Do not overlap. If you have Bramall, you overlap, but on the right-hand side, let's play conservative. If he wants to defend as a 3, defend as a 3 with the right back, centre back, and left centre back. But have the left back push up and overlap, and then we might see something a bit more from the middle. Like if you're playing a 4-2-3-1 and you have Lamine next to Saville, Lamine can burst through the middle. who knows? We might create
Me?
something through the middle of the park.
I haven't seen that yet.
Well, no, but we haven't seen Lamine play at all.
No,
We've
we
only
haven't seen
seen him
enough.
play
We
as a
haven't seen enough
striker.
of him. What that? Yeah. I'm just questioning it because do we know that he can do that? I understand the formation side of stuff. I don't know whether he can do that. I don't know whether he's
Well,
got
he
that
did it
results
in
or
the
not.
top league of Swedish football and
Great,
played
crack on.
European
Yeah.
football. But well, the top league of Swedish football is probably like equivalent of League One.
League One.
It has to be. Well, it's like Scottish Premiership is the equivalent of non-league North. So, like, you think
and we got Morris from the Scottish Premiership, so that gives us a good idea of his level.
Age.
And then
well,
we
he's
get
like
someone
the
else?
third best team in Scotland. I'd
Oh,
say
great! So it's
Rangers.
York City level.
Yeah. Well, he seems all right, but there's got to be a reason why Bloomfield's not starting him. Probably because he thinks his impact is better off the bench, and he could
It
be
was
one of those where if he starts, he could be absolute crap. You never know.
Ollie. It was tactical on Saturday. Remember, because we needed his physicality on the right when they played it out to their right. It was tactical awareness.
I love how he was man of the match after just 15 minutes on the pitch. But he was quite useless against Plymouth in that game. Like, I honestly didn't notice he was on the pitch for 10 minutes.
He'd get the ball and he'd try and beat his man, but their Plymouth's fullbacks were very, very good, and it's
Savanola is very good. I think that going back to that thing about the formation and what we can do though, that's the other bit that makes me really struggle with us at the minute is that we've got enough personnel going forward, at least. If you can get that stability at the back, if you can get that back four that we're all sort of yearning for, I would argue. And then it gives you that extra option from the midfield onwards. We could do so much. We've got so many different options, but we won't see it. We will not see it. We just simply won't. We simply won't. And like I say, I think I'd like to see the likes of Morris play. I'd like to see the fact that we could balance up either side and attack. But then if you're going to play like a 4-2-3-1, which is the one as a striker, he's not dropped Yates. Has he dropped Yates from the start yet? I think he's started most games since he's been fit, at least. I think that if you're going to play three behind a central striker, to me it makes sense to play a bigger man. So it makes sense to play Nordas potentially.
Nordas could hold up the ball better.
Yeah. So that he can bring in those three attacking midfielders. But who are those three attacking midfielders? Again, are you putting that faith in who we've had playing over the last few weeks that haven't done it? Are you putting that faith in?
I would have Ali and Morris as your left and right because they've got
Who are you having in the middle? Are you having Nelson? Because I'm not having him.
No. So if we're playing Nordas up top, then I mean you're looking. I think that's a perfect position for Jordan Clark. Honestly, I do. I think that is where he is best. If we'd ever been able to
nipping
play
in and around the 18-yard box, stitching things together, being a little bit clever,
passing it out wide and then getting and playing, then arriving in the box when Morris or
The
Ali
Luke
have got
Berry
it.
role.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. So when he comes in, he's there at the penalty area or something like that. And if it's going across a 6 yard, you've got Nordas, but if it comes back, you've got your attacking midfielder. And then your two holding midfielders, one of them's going to be Saville. And then I don't know, is that where you play Nelson?
To sort of play forwards as well.
Yeah, and you think you've got Nelson, you've got Walsh, you've got actually no, Walsh is out, isn't he? So yeah. But after those two, we've suddenly seen that our squad is quite depleted with injuries. Oh. And we're saying all this. Where's Richards? We got Richards.
I was just about to ask that. Where's Richards? And where was Kadura at the weekend?
Forgot about Kadura. So allegedly he had a knock, and then it was sort of retracted. And Luton today confirmed that
A bid came in from Millwall.
No, confirmed that he was that it wasn't a knock, it was tactical. So obviously that's all changed.
Okay.
I don't know if it's being I don't know if the media are being repressed, or I don't know, but yeah, he's played like 30 games in League One. There's no reason for him not to play. Give him a go.
Hmm.
He looked he looked really good. Yeah, like he looked good in front of Liam Walsh. Give him a go in front of Saville. Who did he play with? He played with Nelson, didn't he? I'd say give that a go.
I think I'd go a back four of Bramall left back, Naismith, Makoso, and probably at this moment in time, because of injuries, I'd have Long Wyke at right back because he's so heavily right-footed as well. Then I'd have Saville in front of him with potentially Richards. I just think why not? We bought him for a reason at the moment. Or Fanny, or Fanny. Either one of them. And then the three, I'd have Jordan Clark as the central one. I would have Ali, and I probably would have Boris on the right hand side. And then it's a case of choosing who you want to go up front. And I think that we all discussed that. Arguably, when it's a one up front on his own, just because of physicality, it's probably Nordas.
Yeah.
Nordos.
Yeah, not that.
So,
but did you see like Bloomfield completely blanking? I don't think he's in Bloomfield's plans. I think he's.
I don't think that. I don't think that Bloomfield's in our future plans. So fuck him. So,
yeah, he is. He's not going anywhere unless like we completely stink out the gaff until Stevenage. He's not going anywhere. Not Stevenage, Stockport. He's not going anywhere. I think it's an absolute waste if we take international break, because look, we still got 3 players.
We waited before.
Exactly. We lost all momentum after Burton.
Yeah.
Absolutely pointless. So I hope we just play through it. Just take, play without Saville, because it's not like Nakamba or Wells are gonna be big losses. But all this talk about back fours, we might as well like write it down and send it to Santa, because it's never gonna happen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. Like, so Burley asked, "What do you think of Nelson?" Go on, Phil. In 3 words, sum up Nelson. What do you think of Nelson?
3 words.
I thought it was League One midfielder.
Yeah, I was gonna put that. But that would have been far too factual, because that's exactly what it is. I would say average at best.
Yeah. A couple of good games, but he needs to work on that consistency, doesn't he?
He can do special things. That's the problem. Is that in a weird way, that's the problem, because he can do really clever little things. He can beat a man, he can twist and turn out of it, but I just don't see enough of it. I just don't see enough desire to. I just don't see enough of him to be starting every week. And even like commentators, they're like, "Oh, he's going to have a big future ahead of him." Yeah, he will, but he needs to apply himself, and he needs to start getting assists. He needs to start getting on the end of things. He needs to start being involved rather than just chipping it out to the wings. I just don't see enough of him. I'm not convinced.
Did you hear about fair play? Yeah, exactly. Did you hear what Paul Scholes said about Marcus Rashford?
No, I didn't.
If you haven't, okay, so it's a fantastic clip.
Is this when he said that he shouldn't have given up on Man United?
Yeah, he said you give up once, you give up once, and then you've given up. It's just permanently easy to give up. He said if Marcus Rashford actually applied himself and actually cared, he'd have the possibility of being one of the best footballers on the planet. So it's one of those. You need to apply yourself. You have to. These players, like everyone, League Two, even National League above, they're in like the 1%, and then the people in the Premier League, they're in the 0.1%. They have like a God-given ability with a football, and if you apply yourself, for instance, like Cristiano Ronaldo, like him or hate him, we're all young enough to have seen him when he burst on the scene. He was raw. And then he worked on himself. And the fact that he's still playing at nearly 40 in ridiculous shape, like it doesn't matter if he's playing in a farmers league or whatever it is. He's still doing bits at international level. He's still wildly respected amongst his peers. because he works at it. Unless you're like a freak of nature like Lionel Messi, but even he's playing in like a proper farmers league now.
But it's this
Honestly,
where we talk about Nelson and not being able to kind of, we think he's got loads of potential. It's where the manager just seems to be overcomplicating and trying to be too tactically aware or whatever. When really, especially at this level, you've got players who have got ability, they've got flair. Let them, obviously, you want them to try and play in a certain way, but at the end of the day, just let them be themselves. Just let them, if they want to beat a man, or if they just just let them play and play with the freedom that they probably grew up with. And yeah,
that's a lot
just
of modern football. Like a lot
yeah,
of modern football is of robots. Pass,
Yeah.
and
pass, pass.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd just a little pirouette, or Cruyff turn or something like that. A little bit of skill that would get us off our seats.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 20 minutes of sustained pressure, but someone just showing a little bit of out of the ordinary stuff. And it's just so robotic, like you say. It's a good word to use to describe the way that we play our football.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be natural. And that's what made 90s football so good, because there weren't stat merchants. There wasn't a bench full of people with laptops looking at touches in
Individual
penalty
brilliance.
boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, you had the likes of Paul Gascoigne and, Alan Shearer bagging 30 goals a season.
Hmm.
And like
And
wingers, I
even
miss proper wingers that beat a man, not
wingers
shot back in
go,
themselves.
Hmm.
Like
oh God.
Mark Overmars, Kanchelskis, Ginola, like
Jean-Louis Valois.
Yeah, but you look
Ryan
further
Giggs, all
down
that
the
lot.
leagues. Look further down the leagues. The amount of talent that used to come like from the lower leagues, and you'd see some absolute diamonds. Like I remember Barry Hales. Barry
Ross
Hales
Edwards.
worked his way through the leagues. He absolutely
Yeah.
Barry
Fulham.
Hales tortured us. Bristol Rovers before that. Bobby Zamora, players that just played with passion, played with spontaneity, just did whatever.
Bobby Zamora had one of the best anti-player songs I've ever heard. When the ball hits
The
your
ball
head
hits
and
your
you're
head
sitting
and you're sat
Rosehead,
in Rosehead, that's Zamora.
You know what he say Bryson many, many times. I remember
did.
like in the 90s,
did.
Bryson were like hanging on by their fingernails.
Mm.
I remember on the old teletext, it was always Bryson right at the second bottom every single season for years until they got Zamora.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The passion, just some call it a hoofball. I don't mind a bit of hoofball. Just
Take a bit of
launch
hoofball if
it.
you've got a 6'5" striker, but when you're
Yeah.
playing two that are 5'8" together, then it doesn't work, does it?
Well, we
So,
did that
That's
with Nathan Jones. We did that, but it was clever hoofball, because it was sort of hit it into the channel, and then you pen them into that channel, and you don't let them beat your press. It's rather simple when you think about it, and that's sort of something where we if we do hoof it up front and we don't win it, we just sort of get into our shape, and then we go into like a robotic press.
Mhm. I
I'm
was
sure
saying, like,
it looks
if you give
fantastic to the guy watching
100%,
Bird's Eye, though.
yeah,
Mm.
I don't mind if our players were given 110% out of possession, then I wouldn't mind them when we've got the possession. If they try to, beat a man, it doesn't come off or anything like that, then I don't mind that as much, because I know that when we need like proper attitude to get the ball back, then I know, yeah, we're going to get the ball back. I know they're going to apply themselves so that we can get the ball back, and then they can try different things when we've got the ball. But I'm just not convinced on either side of the ball that we have that passion, that desire to be the better team, and which is kind of what Jordan Clark was saying.
I
That
was
we're
just
just
about to
not
say, yeah,
good
that's
enough,
exactly what Clark
basically.
said. We need to do the
Yeah.
ugly stuff better,
Mm.
and that's exactly it. That's where you start. We're at such a low ebb. We need to start building those basics again, and we need to do that ugly stuff. You're exactly right. So sorry to cut across, by the way, guys, but I'm obviously got the other screen on. I see that there's a comment from Anthony Sansom, and I think he's like pretty much nailed it. Bloomfield has spent the last 25 years at Wickham, apart from a brief spell at Colchester. his connections in the game will be limited and everything done through the Wickham lens in League One and League Two. And then Burley's put about the backroom stuff, and it's true. Like
What
when
What do
you
you
put
mean?
about it that way,
It's
when you put it
it.
that way, you how are we expecting more? How are we expecting more? You can
I
only
fundamentally disagree. I think having a goalkeeping coach as a striking coach is absolutely genius because they know
But
exactly where they don't want it. Top corners, lads. Put it in the corners
put it
and
in the
low.
bins. Put it in the bins.
Yeah. Easy, easy.
Oh, got him dancing again, Wedge.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a camp run, that one.
Yeah.
That's his Raheem Sterling run.
Little T-Rex.
Yeah. The Jordan Pickfords.
Oh.
Yeah, honestly though, obviously thousands of data points to quote Gary Sweet in what was actually his last public interview on the club, but the last communication from the club that wasn't program notes was obviously when Bloomfield was announced. And
Is that right?
do you
Wow.
remember that? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
think
do,
about it. That was pretty much the last
Was that
communication.
January?
Yeah, that was January. That was
Yeah,
January.
because
and all the
Wilkinson did the
communication.
statement at the end of the season, didn't he?
Yeah.
Basically apologising and saying there'll be more communication and more transparency moving forward.
Yeah. And there hasn't been. And I've actually got a great comment that absolutely nails it from Discord. I don't know, you guys wouldn't have seen it because you haven't seen it. So this is from Luton Town fans on Discord. Has anyone noticed the myth that 2020 are only now not communicating with the fans? Because everyone says it's a myth, right? Everyone's like, oh, they used to communicate a lot. People seem to think there was this age where 2020 went around updating everyone in the local press on the club website with the internal workings of the club. When has that ever happened? When they took over in 2008, they promised to be open and transparent. But when was that in reality? Gary Sweet has never really gone to the local journalists to spread news. The very occasional BBC 3CR interview, normally about the stadium. Aside from that, it's been the odd tidbit of info from the programme notes, which only a few thousand at most supporters read. He will, however, do national media at the drop of a hat, all the way back to the non-league show that used to be on BBC Radio 5 Live back in the day. If it's Sky, TalkSport, BBC Sport, or National Radio, or a national journalist, he will drop some info we haven't heard to impress the interviewer. Unsurprisingly, those requests came more frequently when we were winning and progressing than went up tenfold when we're in the Premier League. So I guess what I'm saying is both a criticism and inadvertent defense of 2020. They've never used the channels available to be open and transparent like they set out in 2008, i.e. via the club website, social media, or local journalists who'd be happy for a story. However, since their inception, we rightly trusted them as they were so far removed from the rule-breaking money pit dodginess of J10 that preceded them, and we knew 2020 had the best interests at heart. The only thing that has changed now is that we're failing massively on the pitch, so now fans are only noticing the lack of communication, whereas for the past decade, everyone was willing to overlook that because we were winning and progressing. Yeah, he absolutely nailed it.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah. But seriously, sometimes you do have to just take a step back and look at it through a different lens. And actually, there's so many points in there where you think, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll be honest with you. When you said about when was the last time we saw Gary Sweet, I was fully expecting him to see him in a hard hat down near the river after it had been rediverted. I thought he'd be all over that opportunity to sort of say something's happening that's good, or be in there with a sapling saying, "Look, we scored a goal away from home," something like that. But that was so well put, and actually does make you think. Does make you think.
Apparently,
really, really well done.
Martin Cawthorne does say Sweet's done an interview at Power Core. I'm talking about football updates. So the last football update about our shit season was from Wilco. Prior to that, it was about the thousands of data points where Sweet was looking directly at the camera and talks about the thousands of data points and the hundreds of people on the shortlist before only one man was interviewed for the job. Just one man to rule them all, and that man is Bloomfield. You know, Luton are 300-1 to go down. It's worth putting on a tenner.
What,
Well,
and then
then
cashing
cashing
out
out.
early, you dick.
You thought
Still
we'd
blame you for
forget.
that. Still hold you accountable for our relegation.
In all fairness,
You've had it
I
very easy
assume...
from us after you did that. You do not do that. It's bad etiquette.
Remove all jinxes once you cash out, mate. Jesus.
Yeah. No, you could have told me that. I didn't know. I'm not a betting man, you see. I don't know. I only bet on sure things, but I blinked. Yeah. So everyone in the
Yeah.
comments is talking about Gabode. Well, I believe it's pronounced Bode.
Boda.
Where do you
Yeah,
reckon he
Bode.
fits into? Yeah, like I need to see a bit more of him. I didn't really see enough of him in 45 minutes because we were just absolutely shocking against Lincoln. He looked good in
We gave
a
him
small
nothing.
cameo.
We fed him nothing. We fed him nothing. And that again is the other defense for some of our other strikers. We're feeding them nothing.
Yates could be an absolute world beater.
In League One, he can be the fox in the
He should
box
be.
that we all need. But none of them are doing it. None of them are doing it because they're not getting the service. So yeah, I'll reserve judgment on Boda for the minute, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's League 2 player, you know. He's a League 2 player that has all the physical attributes that could be a success in League 1. So, and he's young. I guess we just got to wait, right? Got to see what happens.
He looks like a physical specimen, doesn't he? He looks like he could probably bully some defenders. He looks like he could put himself around a bit. So
I reckon we should go retro, put Nordas and Bode up top and just like bam, 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 bam. Just let the other team know they're in a game. Actually batter the back line.
Adebayo Morris has been changed into Nordas and Boda.
Yeah, go 4-4-2. 4-4-2, heavy artillery over the top. I think that'd be perfect. Won't happen.
No.
Oh well.
No.
Right. Predictions ahead of the game. Wedge. Thoughts.
Right. I don't have confidence. I don't. Again, it's another team which are above us in the league, and we don't do well against them. I mean, they've lost their last couple of games, but I think we can get a win out of this one. Maybe 2-1.
Maybe we need Jaden Luca. Stevie Kilgore just made a good point. He says, have you addressed Luca's 4 assists? It was actually 3 assists off the bench, which is absolutely sensational. League 2 as well, top work. He won't fit in at our team because we don't generate anything from open play. So you think we could win 2-1? But where are those where are those goals coming from, Wedge?
Penalty spot.
Very good. I was just about to say the same.
1 penalty, 1 own goal. There you go.
Typical home form. Peak Luton home form this season. An own goal and a penalty. I just gotta say,
worrying.
I predicted that we would lose last week. By the way, just saying that, gents. And it will not get any better this week either. It'll be a 1-0 loss again. That's what I predicted last week anyway. 1-0 loss. And it will get nasty.
I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think it will be very, very scrappy. And even though we win 2-1, it won't be enough for the fans to agree on that result, if that makes sense. There'll still be a lot of voices, right?
After the last game, you kind of hope that the players will be up for it. The players will fight, win the second balls. That's a big part of it. That's why we lose games. We lose second balls. Even in the games, some of the games where we've won, we've struggled to win the second balls. I think the only game where we've actually got it absolutely spot on, won all the second balls with Burton, because we wanted it more than Burton. I'd love to predict a win, but honestly, I don't see where the goal's going to come from. I mean, I like Nordas. I like the theory of Jerry Yates, but I don't see how we're going to service them. I don't see. I just don't see the crosses getting. I don't see people getting on the ends of the crosses. That's the problem. Like, loads of crosses go in, like what, 30 crosses a game, but who's there? No one's getting off the ground to, head them. Or both the strikers have been sucked to the near post when they've gone to the back post. Or the corners are absolute shit because you have two men over there, and then when the ball's dropped to the edge of the box, no one's there because the player's like still making their way across to the D from the stupid second place. I think that's stupid. I hate that. Don't do that for everyone.
I'm going to be back in 2 seconds because I really need a piss.
Okay, well, do that on the live stream. Okay, well, we'll summarize. We'll finish it there. You can hold it in, Wedge.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
That
genuinely dancing around, man.
So unprofessional. Well, anyway, it was an absolute pleasure. I'm going to draw this out now because I know Wedge really needs to go to the toilet. Everyone,
how you making me laugh, bastard?
Yeah, take care. And most importantly,
come on, you hatters! Come on.
Yeah, most importantly, come on, you hatters.
Come on.